tell you, I'll say again, it was a real indication of their respect for him that they are here today. And I appreciate you being here. But I didn't do this alone. I will tell you, renamings in Congress are difficult. And I went to, when I figured out that this was not going to happen with my work alone, I went to the Majority Leader, Steve Scalise. And I explained to him what was happening. And Steve had worked, he was in Congress with Sam, and he looked at me, and this is a quote. Sam Johnson waited 7 years to come home. He won't wait another day before we get this renamed for him. That's help. When the Majority Leader of the House of Representatives says they will get this, and they came to the floor a very few days later, and of course, both Democrats and Republicans that worked with Sam Johnson honored him with their vote, and we got it through. But I have to thank Steve Scalise, the Majority Leader, for the help to get this through. And I want to talk more about the man than his accomplishments. First of all, he was a fighter pilot. We have to understand that. Now, I didn't know him in the days when he was Colonel Sam Johnson. I wish I had, but I didn't know him when he was Colonel Sam Johnson. But the affectionate saying that we have about fighter pilots, I have no doubt was true about Sam Johnson. You can always tell a fighter pilot. You just can't tell them much. I've got a fighter pilot back there shaking his head, so I can tell you it's true. The things I wish I had been around for. I just recently heard the story of his first conversation with Shirley at their first stop after they flew out of North Vietnam. It's not mine to share, but it is powerful. And if you find one of these staff members that was there at that time, I recommend you learn about it. Driving 80 miles an hour. Apparently, when he was in Congress, if you were on the highway and you weren't driving 80 miles an hour, you were doing something wrong. That's a fighter pilot for you. I really thought that Sam Johnson, Tracy and I came to Collin County about 2000, so Sam Johnson was already an icon in CD3 in North Texas. And so I got to know him while I was the county judge, and I could tell a couple of stories about his backbone was still made of titanium. But I thought he was revered in CD3. I really did. I mean, you go everywhere and everyone knew who Sam Johnson was. They knew his story. They revered Sam Johnson. But when I got into Congress, I was amazed. The people who had served with Sam Johnson revered him as much, if not more, than the people in his district. It was incredible to me because he carried the gravitas, I think is the word. When Sam Johnson spoke in Congress, people listened. And you have to earn that over the decades. And Sam Johnson certainly did, not just for his story as a fighter pilot, but as his work in Congress. I actually went to Nancy Pelosi, and I know that his friendship with Nancy Pelosi is well known, but when I was starting to work on this, I thought I would need Democratic votes. I got them anyway. But I went to Nancy and I said, I'm going to do this for Sam. Can I count on your help? This is Nancy Pelosi. I mean, when I walked into her office, you should have seen her staff members. They were like, who in the world is this Republican coming to see Nancy Pelosi? I mean, it was like I was in enemy territory. But she was very, she was like, I will do anything for Sam Johnson. Anything. Anything you need from the Democrats, I will make it happen. Turns out there were enough of them that knew Sam that it was no problem anyway. But that was Nancy Pelosi. And frankly, folks, this is only a start. This small clinic in Plano is only a start. We are working with the VA in Washington, D.C. for the location on the about 100,000 square foot clinic that we're going to build in North Texas. I think we've got the footprint down. Now they're looking for land, if I'm following. So we're going to move this name to a major clinic when it is finished. So we will move this name. This is only a start. We're going to move it to the 100,000 square foot clinic when it is finished. And I promise you my efforts will be as great to make that happen as they were to get this done. And I want to sort of end on a night that I was there. It was the Medal of Honor Society, made up of the living Medal of Honor recipients. It was their annual dinner in, I think it was here in Dallas that year. And they were giving their National Patriot Award to Sam Johnson. Now, brothers in arms understand when someone is accepted into a group, into a unit, into the fellowship of arms in any particular setting. And I was amazed that night as I sat there and watched his interaction with the Medal of Honor recipients, the respect that they showed him, the camaraderie they had with him. And I will tell you, at the end of the night, I said to myself, they accept him as one of them. It was a magical moment for me because I'd seen him here in CD3. At the time, I wasn't in Congress, but I've seen that now. But for the Medal of Honor recipients to consider him one of them, to me, was an incredible moment because they understood the sacrifice that he went through there in the Alcatraz. I have to end on his faith because he didn't wear his faith on his sleeve, but it was always there. Sam Johnson's faith carried him through. You may know the story of when he was captured. If you don't, it's another story you get to know. And look, I'm being real careful here, folks, because I could tell a dozen stories, and these people sitting right down here in the second row could tell 100 stories. But I will tell you, his faith was always there. And in Washington, D.C., that is an anchor that we need, is the faith to be very solid in your faith and know what you believe and be able to act upon it. So Sam Johnson, the man, the icon, when we say he's an American hero, it's thrown around too much at times. It is not thrown around in this case. Sam Johnson is a legitimate American hero for decades, for service from the time he was a cadet in Wichita Falls, when he and Buzz Aldrin acted like cadets, and that's a story that was, all right, folks, one story. And I've already blown if these two cadets go out, they're going to make a training flight in a propeller-driven airplane. They inspect the plane, left, right, front, back, I don't know what it was. Sam was in the front seat. They got in, the plane wouldn't start. He looked at the man in the back and said, you know, each of them accused the other of not doing their job. And the crew chief apparently was standing out on the runway just laughing at him because these two hotshot young pilots had forgotten to check that there was a propeller on the airplane. And the guy in the back was Buzz Aldrin. So two legitimate American heroes. At one time, they were young flight cadets, just like all of us were at one time making rookie mistakes. But I just can't tell you what an honor it is to be here with you today for this renaming for Sam Johnson, a legitimate hero. And I'm going to ask Shirley to come up. I think we've got something for you. Goodness. I meant to tell a Shirley story. Do you know what Shirley told Tracy years ago? Always go with Keith, wherever you go. So that's the story I was thinking of. I meant to tell that story. Beverly. Do we have? All right, who's got the flowers? You do. So this is Beverly Briney, Sam Johnson's one of two daughters that Sam Johnson had. So thank you for representing your family. I wish Jenny was here, but she's not. So we are going to give this to you. Thank you so much.
Since this is unprepared, and I don't really even know what to say. I can barely see you guys out there. Thank you so much for coming. I just was teary-eyed walking in with all those pictures. And it's such an honor to see all of you here to honor my dad. Anyways, I wish my sister Jenny were here, but she's out of town and couldn't make it. And I just want to thank you guys for honoring my dad. He was a great guy, and he loved putting this clinic together. He spoke of it often, and I think he would be delighted if he were here today. Thank you so much, all of you.
All right, well, I think that's it since Semper Gumby. I don't know if anybody knows what that means. Always be flexible. That was definitely on my list of things to do. Anyways, listen, thank you so much. I just wanted to kind of share a thing that I thought that was pretty profound. Through all of the different times that I've looked through about Sam Johnson, that I've heard about Sam Johnson, there's one quote to me, honestly, as a veteran myself of 2 deployments to Afghanistan, that really sticks out to me, and I wanted to kind of share and leave you with this quote from him. One of his quotes was, "Freedom has a taste to those who fight and almost die, that the protected will never know." You know, I didn't even know who Sam Johnson was, but when I got back from Afghanistan after my second deployment, I had to go to a lot of mental health help. I was pretty messed up from combat, and this quote, I saw this quote somewhere. One of the other guys that was in there with me shared this quote with me, and I never forgot it. Never forgot it. It wound up being almost the crux of my existence. It helped me get through so many dark times. It helped me explain to people what you really couldn't explain to people when you come back from something like that. And I just wanted to kind of share that with you, that he has touched so many lives, that this is just an incredible moment for us to be able to give him that honor, to give your father that honor. And so I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you. He's done a lot for me. He's done a lot for all of us. He's done a lot for Plano and all the veterans that he's ever come into contact with. So thank you so much. All right, so that's it. That concludes it. Hopefully you weren't disappointed. So we do have refreshments in the back brought to you by our CDCE, our Civic Development Community Engagement team in the back. And so thank you so much for joining us today. That concludes our ceremonies. Thank you.